everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'm your host Konrad, and today on Wednesday Night Reviews we're going to take a look at the Daredevil figure by 112 Collective and Mezco toys. The figure itself is fantastic, and as you can see the boxing is quite nice. It's about a foot long, about 10 inches or so wide, and has some nice art on the back for you. And it gives you an idea of what you can expect from the figure. It is, of course, based on the Charlie Cox version of Daredevil from the Netflix television show. So let's get into it. First thing that I thought was cool about the Mezco toys is when I opened it, you'll actually find this in the back. So if you want to go ahead and pause this right about now, you'll be able to read that. It's basically their care and instruction guide, as well as explaining the intentions with the figure. I purchased this from my local comic book shop for $109.99 plus tax. And when I looked it up online from their website, it's $80 plus $25 shipping and handling. So about the same, plus I get to have it now as opposed to 3 weeks from now, and I am a little impatient. So it is quadruple layered. So we've got the front layer, the black plastic in which it's actually stored, and then two additional plastics at the back. And I'm going to start with these two because I find this interesting. So when you open that up, you actually get two covers. Boom, there we go. So the first thing, you got a plastic bag with a blank on it there. That way, if you didn't want to keep the box for whatever reason, you could actually take all the spare parts, put it in the bag, write Daredevil on it, and that way you know you've got your parts without losing anything. And it also comes with the arm to help the figure stand and do other really cool poses, which is very effective. And it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 points of articulation, and this jaw opens up to be able to hold Daredevil. But enough about that. We want to see the figure, Konrad. We're here for the figure. So you lift that up. And to restate, I have already opened this. When I first opened it, there was more paper sheeting over top of Daredevil, as well as wrapped around his head to protect him. But let's get him here. So here he is. Here is your Charlie Cox Daredevil. The figure itself is highly detailed. I very much like the outfit and the way that they've put him together. There's nothing that I see that overly scares me with the maintenance of the toy over time. I think my biggest gripe about it, having played with it, is, well, it is highly articulate. I mean, arms move well. You can move them this way and that way. Spin hands. Same over here. Spin the hand. He actually has a fairly normal human motion. The head, so blank position, can go up and back down. The body itself has a point here and a point here for articulation, and of course at the hips she can move. And then we've got hip joint, knee joint, and the ankle, which can move. The foot moves a little bit, but barely. And yeah, my main concern, like I was mentioning, has to do with actually his kicks. So Daredevil in the show does a lot of crazy martial arts, and if you want to try and pose him with any sort of a high kick, that's about as high as you're going to get safely without risking that seam there. But you can do a lot with him. So that's the figure himself. So I'm going to pop him right here. Remove this, which is his little nest. And that means we can take out the plate. So the plate itself, you see, has got this little nub as well as the branding for Daredevil. This nub corresponds to a hole in the foot. That way you can easily, voila, and he stands. The figure itself will stand without the base. It's just a matter of making sure he's balanced and that he's got some sort of stability. Not difficult. Just takes a minute, and I've not exactly posed him in any effective way. So additionally, he's got his eskrima sticks, however you want to call them. You'll notice one is longer than the other, and they do connect together. Quite stable, actually. I'm not really concerned about it breaking over time, unless you really cranked it. And they are, well, as mentioned, asymmetrical, like so. But that is by design, and I will get to that in a minute. So additionally, what do we have? Well, Daredevil wouldn't be Daredevil without a scowl, so we've got a nice scowling face where he's gritting his teeth. Additionally, have just an open hand for general purpose, sort of relaxedness, as well as a mirrored hand on the left side. And then we have a holding hand for the scrum sticks, and of course the mirror on the right side. The first thing I noticed right off the bat, because I'm all about my little details, is the sticks. So that it bothered me that they were different, because in the show they are not, or at least they don't look to be. And when I'm looking in the details, you can see here he's got his little holsters for them, and it concerned me because they were going to sit out awkwardly at a different level, and that would just look stupid. However, Mezco Toys has impressed me. One of these holsters, the way it is built, actually holds it differently, such that when you align them, it actually looks pretty good, and you can always push one up a little bit more if the nub at the bottom bothers you. And that way, he's actually got his equipment on hand, and he's ready to go. The second thing that I really enjoyed were the hands. So that the fists themselves, they're a fist. You're not going to do a whole ton with it unless you're posing them, which, yeah, whatever. So they pop off easy, like so. But they have like a rubberiness to them. So let's put on a gripping hand. And they're very easy to just push in. And what I like is, instead of being hard plastic, you'll notice it's actually rubbery, which means I don't have to worry that if I put something in his hand, it's going to snap the fingers off, especially at this size. So as you can see, his hand itself is rather small. Individual digits are as well. And by making them rubbery, it allows you more movement and give without worrying about breaking it. And of course, I've had a bunch of poses, which I'll throw up some pictures for you here, because this is the figure itself. Overall, it's beautiful. The posing with it works very well. And the other thing I liked a lot with the figure was the stand. So we've got this little posing nub here. So at the back you'll see this, and you can easily poke it, and it will come out. I'll reach over here. Just got a regular old pen. And poke through. Our nub comes out. Right, set that aside. And now, this is what I liked. I got this. And as mentioned, it does a lot of articulation, so you could have him just standing there if you wanted. With this base, obviously, I'm going to do some pretty wild pictures, which I will post in the video here as screenshots right now. How about right here, and let's look at a nice one here. Another thing, again, just the quality of this toy is fantastic, so do forgive me for going on, but the strength of this vice for him is great. So it actually does take work to get it up, to open up the jaw of it, but once you do, it's solid. Now, as you can see, the toy itself stands 6 inches tall, or just a little bit over, and right now he's sitting above the base, so the weight is evenly down. And I thought, great, that'll work, so I can have him in the air. But I wanted to test it, so let's take him off of the base. So he's no longer over his grip point. Right about here is where the base no longer holds it, but you can, offside the base quite a lot, or if you want to have him sort of jumping forward, you've got some play with it. So they weighted the base. It's very lightweight. It does not feel heavy, but with the way that they've weighted it, it keeps him solid, and that way you can do action poses and have him fighting and kicking and all this cool stuff. So I was just overall kind of impressed with that. It's very easy to disassemble and reassemble. I think I've done it probably like 10 times already today. And just because of the quality, the choices they made in the figure itself, it feels sturdy. It does not feel like I'm going to break it. As mentioned at the beginning of the video, my only concern is this stitch here. So you can see right in there, it's kind of got that, the jean crease, if you will. But the stitch itself is a concern, especially if you have someone who wants to do, say, like a high kick, because right now he's only at 90 degrees. So anything over that he's not really able to do because of the clothing. Additionally, the stitching or the material in his arm prevents him from actually raising his arm any higher than this. I can go backward, and that's not bad. I can go forward, but that's about it. Not a huge thing. There are some times when Daredevil has his hands right over his head, but you can do things like this. And between that and bending the arm, you can achieve quite a few poses. So overall, I must say, for the $110 plus tax that it costs, I'm rather happy with Daredevil. He looks good. Face-wise, I feel it looks like Charlie Cox, and obviously the outfit is correct. It looks accurate to, I believe, the second season of Daredevil, not the first. So, ladies and gentlemen, that has been my review of the 112 Collective's Daredevil from the Marvel TV series. Overall, great toy, totally worth the cost. Overall, fabulous toy, and it's going to make a great piece of my collection. So here are some more stills for you, and I do hope you have a great rest of your day, everyone.